Hello and welcome to the final edition of the Whatever podcast for the first half of 2014, in which we will discuss, including but not limited to...
Yeah, what up?
You got me this time. I mean, hey, my pants are seriously down, but...
Yeah, what up? 'Cause this is my United States or whatever. And this is my United States or whatever.
Look out! Everybody! I'm gonna smack God! I banged a clown. Alright, so, welcome everyone. It is now June 30th. It's a Monday edition that we're recording. Yeah, this song is old, man. It's funny because this song is like the epitome of Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, and it's like it's on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So it's part of the game, and it literally just like defines how hard they tried to make that game edgy.
You can always tell when games do that, too.
I know, yeah. Well, especially in this one's case, though. This is one of the most extreme examples of that I've seen. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Welcome, Justin. How you doing? Doing
Good,
well?
man.
Good.
How's your week been?
So far, so good. It's early going. Had a lot of free time today. Had a day off. They had nothing to do, so I'm sitting around. I made an ad, which is good. That's
Yeah, I love
I mean,
those.
Ubisoft. They don't listen to the show, so they didn't email me and they didn't ask me if they could sponsor tonight's show. So I said, sure,
Oh.
why not? And lo and behold, they're once again a sponsor of our show tonight, unknowingly
That's
to them,
awesome.
and through no official means of their doing. So yeah. They don't condone anything that you will hear tonight. But hey, what you been playing? You been playing anything lately?
I played the new Transformers game through to completion.
Good times. Did you survive the Steam sale unscathed?
Yeah, actually, I did. I only bought 3 games.
3 games.
Uh-oh.
Wow,
phone's going off.
that's good.
Hold on.
Should have said all phones on silent, even
Yeah, I
vibrate
know.
off, because we can hear that through the microphones. We say that
It's like-
whenever we're about to record a show at work. We say, everyone, please, cell phones on silent. And if it goes
Yeah.
off, then we don't
get
really do
trouble?
anything to them. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
we wish we could do something to them, but we can't because we want them to come back. So
It's more like a warning.
it is. It just makes it look unprofessional if you do that. But hey, we're a podcast and we're not being paid for this, so we are unprofessional. But yeah, so I don't know what I was gonna say.
You're
about
asking
it.
what I was playing or
Yeah.
whatever. But,
Did you make it through the Steam
so-
sale? You said you bought 3
so, yeah.
games.
So I bought 3 games, technically I bought 4?
Let's see how many you bought. I don't even know.
I
how
bought
many
4, but 3 of them were like in a bundle. So basically,
Oh,
I
okay.
bought the Dungeon Siege collection, which was 1, 2, and 3 for $5,
Nice.
and then I got the Enslaved PC version because I really like that game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
It
got
was
that
cheap,
one.
too.
I got that one a little while ago. It is an
Yeah.
interesting game. It's different than I was expecting. I guess I didn't
Yeah.
expect it. I didn't expect it to be like so Andy Serkis-ish.
Yeah,
But
I
it
mean,
is.
it's very cinematic.
Yeah, very cinematic. Not a lot
But,
of control that you have
Okay.
there.
Yeah, hey, shut up.
What did I get? I got
What'd you
let's see.
hate?
I got more stuff on Good Old Games actually this time than I did on Steam. Like on Steam, I got stuff like indie stuff. I got Fez.
Mhm.
I got just some stuff I hadn't played yet. I can't even bring up my Steam.
But I did
list
good.
right
I
now.
mean, I did. I mean, honestly, I think this is the least amount of things I bought
Yeah,
on a
likewise.
Steam sale. And I mean, it's not even that I didn't want to buy stuff. It was just
It's
I don't know, I
'cause
just
Steam, like we're both against Steam. We hate it. Hope it goes away. Hope it loses Steam. So to speak.
I hate it. And until they release Half-Life 3, fuck them.
Yeah, I don't care about Steam anymore. I
Well,
don't,
you know, let me tell you this. I was just thinking about this the
that's a
other day.
lie, by the way.
I'm sorry, Steam. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah, please don't kill us.
But I am really serious. You know, I was thinking about Steam, like when Steam first, came out
Right.
and release of PC games, etc. And I realized, back then, you'd get like a couple new releases like every week maybe. You know, you look at well,
Yeah.
what's new? Oh, that looks like crap. Now we're just flooded with stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're flooded from indies to greenlight to you know, high production games.
Early
It's
access.
huh?
Early access. Going retail, by the
Yeah,
way.
I don't like that, but anyway,
Going
I mean,
retail.
we've gotten
I
so
like
far
it
with
like
that.
that though. I like the choice to be flooded with games and then willfully ignore 90% of the things on there.
Well,
That's the thing I don't understand why people complain about it though. You know what I mean? Like
well,
who's making
I
you
don't
buy it?
I don't complain that there's too many, but I feel like I just can't keep up
Yeah.
anymore.
I
You
don't
know?
even try. Like I go off of recommendations more than anything now. Like I saw someone recommend Marlo Briggs, which we're going to talk about a little later, and that game is crazy. And the
It
thread
is.
on NeoGAF said something to the effect of, "Holy shit, Marlo Briggs is better than all of God of War's combined, except for 3 or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And I clicked on it and saw a bunch of people not in agreement, but
Yeah,
saying it
that
was
was
good.
yeah. I don't think it comes close to the God of War, but as a lower
Depends.
budget game,
Oh, it's pretty.
it's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, it's fun. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I buy though now. Like I said, Fez and the lower budget kind of stuff. Mostly because I'm broke. But on top of that, this stuff that I own a lot of the AAA stuff closer to its release anyway. Like
Yeah.
I'll buy the AAA stuff for half price of what it normally costs retail, but it's still cheaper. So I already own all of the stuff most of the time. The only things I don't own are like Call of Duty, stuff like that. Like I just don't get into those anymore. But
Pieces of shit.
garbage. Like I already own Wolfenstein. I already own Watch Dogs. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the sale, I think I'm getting more into the older games now anyway because I actually missed a lot of stuff growing up. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about on whatever name your system here basically.
Yeah.
Like I had a Super NES. I didn't own a Genesis when I was younger, so I missed a lot of the Genesis exclusive stuff. And I'll go back and pick up some of that stuff and so on and so forth. And I don't know, like it's just cool.
What's
to be able to
crazy
go
for
back.
me too is like I'm like as I was telling you before we got started on the podcast, I sold Watch Dogs,
Mhm.
and I've realized I don't know if it's maybe because now I have a kid, but I realize if a game's not pulling me in, I'm not going to sit there and force myself to get pulled into this game when I have a billion other games to play that I'm willingly like, yes, I
Well,
can't
that's
wait to play this more.
My problem is I look at my backlog and I have so many things that I
That
haven't
too.
even played yet, and I'm like, why am I spending money when why? It's because it's like, oh, it's only
deals.
$2. It's only $1. It's only $2, and you end up looking at your statement afterwards, and you're like, what? I spent $50 on 20 games? How is it possible?
Yeah, well, what do I do that for?
Like, yeah, well, am I ever gonna get to any of these games? I keep saying I need to sit down, make some graphics, just do like a backlog show to motivate myself to play through everything, But we'll see when that day comes.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I've been playing PS2 games, Xbox games,
Yeah, that too.
old stuff, and I'm just
have those-
I'm having fun.
I have those like laying around, not even hooked up, that I could possibly play that I've had for literally years and not played them yet, and I'm still going and buying new stuff, and I'm like, why? What am I doing? It doesn't
you're
make
an
no
asshole.
sense. I am. So thank you, Steam, for making me an asshole. But hey,
Steam, it turns you an asshole.
you are what you eat. But that's the funny thing. Like I bought Dust Force. I haven't played Dust Force yet. I went ahead and I finished buying the Sands of Time trilogy. Just because I want to play through it.
Yeah.
I bought Another World remake. I never played the original one, so I've actually been itching for years to play that game.
Oh, I love that game.
I bought System Shock 2, which I've never played through. Steam World Dig. I think I mentioned last week Jade Empire. You bought that as well. Like, there's
Yes.
a lot of stuff that I've not played through that I just need to. And I know it's it's like seminal stuff in this hobby that we have. Like the Prince of Persia trilogy. Like, if you're into gaming in the last 10 years, your chances are high you like that trilogy. But I never played through. It's just interesting.
But you did play. What's interesting is you did play all through the Forgotten Sands,
I did, yeah, and I
which
played
takes
through
place between 1 and 2, I believe.
the other Prince of Persia as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I played those. I haven't played Forgotten Sands all the way through, but I want to.
It's pretty short though. It's like 4 or 5 hours long. It's not very long.
That's it?
Yeah, it's really short. That's the weird thing. The warrior within, or not the warrior within. Sorry, warrior within.
Long as shit.
Yeah, it's like 15, 20 hours from what I was reading. I was like, what? That's crazy.
And you know what sucked? when it came out,
What?
there was glitches that could keep you from beating the game.
Oh,
And
wow.
You're like, oh, look at that 10-hour game down the freaking window.
That's
Isn't
horrible.
that great? Ubisoft.
But yeah, we were going to talk about the new Transformers game, and
Yes.
you've been playing that.
Yeah, I beat it.
You actually purchased it.
I
At-
traded in some stuff, yes,
okay,
and I
so
purchased
you got it at retail. Like you're one of
yeah,
you're one of those people.
I am, but
All
hey, at least you can't
You took
say
the
I didn't-
plunge. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Took a
the
bullet.
plunge. It was a big bullet.
So let's get into it then.
Okay, so first off, this has probably the worst graphics I've seen on a next gen console because
That
it
sucks.
literally looks like they took the PS3 version and shoved it on there with a higher resolution.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I wonder why. So, which that's fine. Even I'm not a super graphic whore, so it's okay. I mean, but what really sucks is you start off on Earth, like present day, and it just looks horrible. I mean, some flat ass textures, just some bad looking geometry, and I mean that was like ugh. So after this, they get into the story, which is convoluted as hell. And next thing you know, you're back on Cybertron before the fall of Cybertron. So it's like kind of like a prequel, but then it mixes with the Michael Bay on Earth's.
Which is the weirdest
Transformers?
idea I've ever heard of. By the way.
Yeah. So they go back to Fall of Cybertron, kind of, but well, before Fall of Cybertron, it's after war and between Fall, and basically there's this thing about the Dark Spark, and it can control like time or multiverse stuff and blah blah blah. So you play as the Decepticons, and you're trying to go after it, of course. And then you switch over to the Autobots, and you're basically like, okay, I'm gonna take this. You basically fight Megatron. You blast the Dark Spark into like space or whatever, and then it like fast forwards to Earth where it crashed, I guess, on the planet, and this guy is going after it, and you got to stop him. So it's like the majority of the game, I'd say, takes place on Cybertron, and then you get like these really rushed parts again on Earth at the end from the first mission. Then you go back in the past, then you go back to the future, and yeah, it's just really confusing, and it feels like two different games. Like it all plays the same with the shooting mechanics, which are basically lifted straight from Fall, but the key difference here is that, like, okay, do you remember you played Fall of Cybertron, right?
Yeah.
Remember how exciting and action-packed that game was? I mean, it literally
Sure.
was paced really well.
Right.
There was stuff blowing up, the environments, there was huge set pieces. And
Yeah, I thought it was a lot
flowing.
better than War for Cybertron.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
well,
was a big improvement.
Now just take all those out and just make it like just a shooter without anything really exciting happening. That's basically it in a nutshell.
So it turned into Gears of War. I'm just kidding. So
Yes. No. Don't joke, because I
it's
made that
pretty much-
analogy.
really?
My buddy was at work was asking me what I thought, and I said, "Let me give you the perfect analogy." I was like, "Do you remember what Gears of War Judgment felt like?"
Oh,
goes-
Judgment. There you go.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh my gosh, yes." I said, "Yeah, that's what this game feels like." But I was like, "But I did like this probably more than Gears of War Judgment, if that
Ouch.
says anything."
Ouch.
I did not like Judgment at all, and neither did he. So, bottom line is, it feels like they took assets from the old games, from the other games that were made from
Right.
High Moon Studios, and then they're like, we got to make some new assets with the Earth stuff, and we're just going to make this story that's kind of like in between the first two, and has some stuff with the Michael Bay stuff just to kind of sell it a little bit more.
Weird decision.
And it's a piece of shit.
Wow, that's disappointing, isn't it? It's
It
weird
is,
though. I don't know why. What is High Moon doing again? They're not doing anything
Well,
as
High
far as I
Moon
know.
got,
What are they
I think,
doing?
disbanded.
Oh, did they really?
I think they got shut down, and then they took their people
They're working
and they put them on like Call
or
of Duty.
something. Yeah, that's a shame.
Go figure.
I know. That's Activision for you though, in a nutshell. Like they're just nothing but 3 franchises now, practically, right? You got Call of Duty.
And let me make it very clear here. I went ahead and put Transformers or Fall of Cybertron in my PlayStation 3 and started playing it again, and I was literally more blown away by the first 2 levels than I was the entire game of Darkspark.
Well, so who
And it didn't
developed,
even look that
who
bad.
developed this one?
Edge of Reality.
Edge of Reality. Are they new? Or they did?
They're
put
not
together
new, but they are. Let's see here. I looked them up earlier.
Yeah, I'm looking them up now. Let's see. There's American video game developer. No shit. Founded in 1998, so they're not new at all. They've been. Oh, they're in Austin. Who isn't in Austin nowadays? But yeah.
Oh yeah, they did the Tony Hawk
Oh,
games
okay. What the hell?
on the
then?
N64.
On N64, yeah.
They did a lot of ports.
They did the Spider-Man on N64.
Their
That was
biggest thing they
alright.
did was Dragon Age Origins. They did the console versions.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so
And Mass Effect on PS3.
BioWare did the PC version of that game?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay.
But I mean, the last thing they did was something called Loadout, PC, PS4.
Which, by the way, I always found it interesting that Dragon Age got an Origins game, even though it had never existed until then.
Yeah,
It's just
well,
my- I just thought it was
I think
weird.
did you play it?
No, I own it.
Is when you pick when you pick a class and a character to like class,
of
you
those.
start like you kind of do an origin of that character,
Oh, okay.
where they come from. So each person's kind of got a unique origin.
So it has-
I
it
think
has a
that's what
reason.
they were getting at.
Okay.
But I'm no
This is-
expert.
You know that Dragon Age franchise?
Yeah.
No. This is the origins of it. What?
Yeah,
Well, we're introducing those franchise now, but this is where
that's
it
no
started.
moon.
That's no small moon. It's a loadout, huh? I didn't
Yeah.
play loadout either.
Yeah,
Man, look at all the
but-
platforms, though. It's even on Wii U, huh? Wow. Cool. So, at least Wii U got some support.
Yeah, yeah.
There's another game to the library.
To be honest, I will say that it's probably better than a lot of the other Transformers games, other than War and
Right.
Fall. But that doesn't say much.
Yeah, that was the funny thing, was those two were kind of just anomalies, because even the other Transformers games made by High Moon sucked.
Well, it was just
weird.
one, and it was the
Okay,
Dark
it's just the dark,
the-
that one.
or whatever, the one based
Dark
off
Side of
the movie.
the Moon.
But I heard that originally a different team was making that, and High Moon only got thrown into that,
Wow.
to finish it up.
Well, I didn't know
Booyah.
that either. I don't think you knew that either. All right, so let's see. Rise of the Dark Spark. What a horrible name, first of all, because sparks by their own nature are not dark. They are light-emitting things, so they are light. So that's just stupid.
Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Yeah. What is the Dark Side of the Moon? What is the other What is the movie called? Is that the name of the movie? Rise of the Dark Spark?
No, it's not. It's
I
not.
didn't think so.
That's the thing. It's not based off the movie. It just has some of the movie versions of the Transformers on the Earth levels.
So
That's
it's like,
it.
is it a standalone story?
Yeah.
Just by itself, kind of
It
exists.
feels like they're trying to merge all the universes together.
So what is the new movie called? I don't know. Oh, Age of Extinction. There you go.
There you go.
Transformers: Age of Extinction of the Dark Spark of the Moon.
I still thought Dark of the Moon was terrible. Like the name Dark of the Moon. Like,
Well, yeah,
okay.
because it's just a friggin' Pink Floyd album with the side ripped out. It's dumb as hell. It doesn't make any sense. It's just lazy. That's just all they did. I'm surprised Peter Dinklage isn't in this game somehow. It's just laziness. Hey, what's hot right now? Oh, get him. Go book him. Okay.
Welcome, Dano.
Yeah.
But yeah, so guys,
Avoid
if you're
it?
listening, seriously, don't play the game. Or if you're gonna do it, just rent it. Just don't be like me.
That's a shame if you're a Transformers fan,
Oh yeah.
because you've kind
It
of got
does
a raw deal. Again, there's a what is that? I saw there's a new Ninja Turtles game. Speaking of people that are fans of franchises with historically bad games,
Wait, what?
there's a new Ninja Turtles game coming to 3DS, and the
Oh.
company, what is their name? Pocket Magic? I forgot what their name is. Something like that. Magic Pockets. something like that. But
That's a good name.
that's anyway. They apparently they're literally just like reskinning the game, and they released a game last year based on the Nickelodeon kids show,
yeah.
and they're just reskinning it with Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles,
That's it.
and that's it. Yeah,
Oh,
And
and
they're
that
just
game was horrible.
re-releasing it on 3DS.
I actually played that game.
Oh, did you really? I'm sorry.
It was.
You put yourself through a
bad.
lot for us, man.
Yeah, well, that's why when people try to tell me something's a bad game, I'm like, no, dude,
I know.
you haven't played the bad.
I know
game.
what bad games are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's true though. Like, it's all about perspective, right? There's a thread raging on Gaff right now about this kind of, it's not an upscaler, but it's a filter basically that you put on your television, and it makes your HDMI signal clearer, you know. And this guy, like the OP, the original poster, he just like literally took off-screen shots with his cell phone of before and after of his television, and he posted it on Gaff. Well, of course, NeoGAF's full of people that like to consider themselves
Elitists.
yeah,
And experts.
Sure, right. I was gonna say more well informed than the public, but yeah, like, yeah. So, but yeah, they start jumping on him and saying, "Why would I put that on my television for $300 or whatever and ruin my image?" And it's all about subjectivity. It's all, if you think it looks good, it's up to you. It's your thing. You can think it looks good even though it doesn't. Factually, it looks horrible. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can like bad games and
Yeah.
appreciate horrible things and still have some dignity, sort of, in some people's eyes. Maybe your parents will still love you.
Yeah,
Anyway.
of course, if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. I haven't spoken to mine in 6 years, so. And it all stemmed from oh wow, my dad didn't like Half-Life 2. No, I'm kidding. I still speak to my parents regularly, folks. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't stop the letter writing campaign. Don't go crazy. I'm fine. Don't worry. But yeah, it's I don't know. I'm
Well,
glad I'm not really a fan of any franchise like that, to be honest. Like the last one I think I was a fan of, I guess, is Star Wars, and that's had enough good games that have come out, over the decades. That there's enough to like sustain, a decent amount of playtime. You still have Battlefront, you still have the Super NES games, stuff like that. So.
Well, I mean, imagine. I mean, like you were talking about perspective. It's just imagine if you say you've played 5 games, and those 5 games was like The Last of Us, Zelda, Twilight Princess, or say Ocarina of Time, even Super Mario 64, Halo, the original Halo when it came out. Like top of the line, cream of the crop stuff. So of course you're like exposed to only like something, like the highest of the high.
Yeah, there are a lot
genre,
of people. I think there's a lot of people like that only play the best, highest reviewed stuff every year.
So then when you throw them something like Shadows of the Damned or Lollipop Chainsaw or anything that's like a little bit lesser quality but goofy or whatever, they're just like, this is shit.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean,
much
literally,
right.
this is just shit.
Well, then you'll get the cases like what I'm about to talk about, like Marlo Briggs, which is just like it's an indie game that came out on Xbox Live last year. And I don't know if it came out on PC later. I think it did, but it's I bought it for $1 on a Steam sale. It was like 90% off, and it's like it's by all accounts it's not a great game. It's really cheesy and it's intentionally so, but the graphics are kind of weak. The I don't know. It comes off like a B movie game. And when you're playing it, it's not meant to be like the best thing out there. But I think that because someone trumpeted it on Gaff and made a thread about it, it's considered a lot better than it probably is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have groupthink, and that's just human nature, I guess. But that's pretty much how it works with a lot of stuff, and especially in the gaming world, though. Because what was it? I think it was Jim Sterling that came out of a video today, and he was talking about, lying about things, lying about the graphics of your game, for example. Whenever Watch Dogs came out, it looks great. It still looks really good, right? It's still one of the best looking games on the market, but it doesn't have the same, pizzazz, I guess, that you'd say, like it had in the original E3 demo. So because we know it's not as great looking as it once was, now all of a sudden it looks terrible, in people's minds.
Whereas really it's not terrible.
No, it's literally one of the best looking games on the market, especially considering it's an open world title, and it just looks really good, but that's just how the human mind works. People, whenever something is thought of as really, really great, whenever something that's not as great comes along, it's completely garbage in that person's opinion by comparison. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's dangerous to like only encounter the best of the best in anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's like when with Shovel Knight. You heard about Shovel Knight, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, like there was people in the thread like before the game was coming out, or when they were like people were getting hyped for it, and the official thread was there. People were like hyping it up or talking about it, and people were like, "Oh, I'm so excited!" And you get a couple posters like, "I don't get why people are excited about this game."
It's gonna be the game of the year. It's gonna be the best game of the year.
And it's like, so you're basically just saying that because of how it looks is basically what you're telling me. And then it's like they're like, "Oh, like this game can't be good because why are people excited? It looks like an old NES game."
Right, and if it isn't the game of the year, it's no good at all. Like that's just how people pretend that they think. And then they'll play it and they'll enjoy it. And then, they'll just go on saying they hated it, even though they didn't. That's just
I always think that like secretly everybody loves Aliens Colonial Marines. It's true. It's so true.
Oh,
it's just
man.
people don't want to admit it.
No, I didn't love it.
Same with Duke Nukem Forever. People love it. They just don't want to admit it.
I didn't love that either. That game is hideously ugly.
You're just lying to yourself.
So
Stop
ugly.
it.
Oh man. Yeah, Aliens Colonial Marines was one of the examples Jim Sterling mentioned today with the graphics, like just complete bullshit trailer when it released. And when it came out, it honestly it doesn't. It's not. It's ugly. I'm not going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's not ugly, but it's not the worst looking game I've ever seen. It's not whatever that big rig over the road racing game. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
That is like hideously ugly. This
Well,
Colonial Marines just doesn't look as good as it was touted, and I mean nowhere near as good as it was touted. But at the same time,
I'm not giving them credit because they lied. They plain up lied to people
Right.
about how it looked. But I will say that I still think what people don't realize is that both Duke Nukem and that game were pretty much like in development for freaking forever.
yeah, that's true.
And I think their gameplay kind of suits when they probably should have been released, if that makes sense.
They should have come out with Duke Nukem Forever in like 2001, and it would have been
Yeah.
a much, much better game.
Yeah, I have no been received better.
It might
We
have
didn't
been
know
received
better.
better,
We
but
didn't know better.
even if you stack like Duke Nukem Forever up against the original Duke Nukem 3D, it's
Well,
really
you could-
weak. Like
Yeah,
gameplay
well-
wise, it's just nowhere near as good. And that game is
Yeah,
20 years
people
old.
But people would say the same thing about Doom 3.
That's true. I mean, Doom 3 was effectively just a remake, though. It's weird. I don't know. Doom 3 is kind of just strange to me. It's not a sequel. It doesn't, it's in canon. It just like reset everything.
Yeah.
And it's not really 3 at all. I think it's a prequel to 1. So, but it just doesn't make any sense to. Those are like two different genres basically to me, because like how much the genre changed between those two games' release. By the time Doom 3 came out, it was a totally different experience altogether, because it was focused on the lighting,
Yeah.
as opposed it was much more atmospheric and focused on sound and all that stuff. And the original game was much more of just kind of a maze, and you find your way through,
shoot.
and I don't know. You're right. Like things change, and yeah, I think Duke Nukem Forever probably would have been received better if it was released on the original Xbox instead of the Xbox 360. But yeah, I don't know, because I remember there were games like Project Snowblind, and that got completely shafted by
Yeah.
reviewers, and that was a pretty run of the mill shooter at the time. It wasn't anything special, but people weren't too favorable on it, and it was on the original Xbox. I don't know. There were a lot of games coming out. Like at the time, you had Halo 2, I guess, and Halo, kind of they were kind of leading the way on the consoles for shooters at the time, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, because Duke Nukem Forever it probably did do a lot of things those games didn't do. Like if it came out in 2005, it might have been seen as a little more of an advanced game in the genre.
Yeah.
But when it came out in 2009 or so, it was very, very dated by then.
Yeah.
And very, very hideously ugly. But anyway, so Marlowe Briggs, I was going to talk about the developer of it really quick. I read their wiki page, and I thought it was kind of interesting. They're made by a company called Zootfly, and they are not known for anything big or anything like mainstream at all. And they've been around though since 2002, I think. Yeah, so they've been around for a long time. Here's their story though. It's kind of strange.
It's about a man named Brady.
It is. He met a lovely lady. But it says Zootfly experimented extensively with the possibilities of reading and interpreting players' inputs and adapting the gameplay experience accordingly based on specific psychological profiles extrapolated via psychometrics.
What?
So according to them, users' inputs reveal comprehensive information about them and reactions in tight situations, how they use resources, how they interact and communicate, and so on and so forth, right? And they were going to use like a system that they had devised basically to make a game that gave you the perfect ending for you, is basically what it would have amounted to. And they made a game that was experimental called Hollow, and Hollow never came out, but it says in it players would assume the role of an expelled U.S. journalist who, upon returning to the disco totalitarian state of Centrope, reunites with his fiancée and finds himself being arrested for her murder. What? It says it would feature 4 distinct environments ranging from a disco totalitarian metropolis to a decaying underworld. Each mission in the game would end with a movie-style action sequence showing your best moments. So basically it would have been like, I don't know. I imagine kind of like a Postal type of game where you're given like tools and you can kind of free reign and do whatever you want,
Yeah.
and you can like go like more like morally bankrupt and just completely trash everything, or you can go kind of straightforward and behave yourself,
Yeah.
and then you'll get like a different ending based on whatever you do.
So basically, Heavy Rain.
Sure, I guess. I never played Heavy Rain, but yeah, it would have been interesting though, because this was like in the early 2000s they were experimenting with stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Then they came out with a game called Panzer Elite Action Fields of Glory. It was known in the States as I can't remember. It says somewhere down here. 1st Battalion. That's what it was released here as, and that was just like a kind of a military game, like a tank simulation. But anyway, then they came out with Toy Wars. I'm sorry, they announced Toy Wars. They never released it, which is weird. Then they did the Prison Break game, which is like 2009. So we jumped from 2002 to 2009. They have one release, two releases. They released another 1st Battalion game after the first one, but then after that, they haven't done anything.
How do you survive that one?
I don't know. And then in 2009, they do the Prison Break game, which Prison Break was a pretty big show that had a big name. They released it in 2000. Yeah, they released it in 2009, and then from there until 2013, they didn't release anything else until Marlowe Briggs, which is it's just the weirdest thing. And apparently, they have about 50 people working for them, which is just how do you sustain that size of a workforce
Yeah, I don't know.
if you don't have any releases coming out? But what the interesting thing that I read about them was they had this Ghostbusters demo that they worked up.
Oh, I do remember
back
that.
in 2007, and they released it on YouTube, and it was like showing off of their vision of a game, and it wasn't in any way whatsoever officially endorsed by Sony Pictures or anybody, and so Sony went after them for it, and they had to take it down eventually, all the video and all the concept stuff. But it came out at the exact same time that Terminal Reality is their name.
Yeah.
They made the Ghostbusters game that actually did come out for Atari, and it came out at the exact same time that they were pitching their Ghostbusters game, and Atari saw the fanfare that the unofficial video had caused, and it actually ended up getting the officially licensed Ghostbusters game greenlit. So it was kind of weird, yeah.
Because that wasn't coming out yet.
Right, and that game actually got folded up into something called Tymo, I guess, but Tymo never came out, and it disappeared, and they put it up on a website, and the website sat for like a year without being updated, and then like in 2011, it resurfaced in like another demo reel or something, and then that was it. Like it's never been seen again.
That's weird, and it's the fact that they're still around.
Yeah, I know, and this is what's surprising is. They come out with, I read all this stuff about them doing all this psychological stuff. It reminded me of like Silent Hill Shattered Memories or something, with all the psychoprofiling stuff. And then you play Marlowe Briggs.
And it's just
not even in the same stratosphere as that idea kind of stuff.
Not at all.
It's Marlowe Briggs is literally just a God of War clone. I don't even call it that. I'd probably call it a Dante's Inferno clone. And it's complete with the scythe and everything. And it's just such an over-the-top, ridiculous action game. I don't know where to start describing it, but for $1, really you can't go wrong. I think it was 80% off, like normal price during the sale, and then it went on like flash sale for 90% off. Like if that $1's the difference between you buying it or not, you got problems with saving. But that's the thing is, for $1, it's pretty good. It has a really pretty in-depth combat system, which is kind of crazy. Like I'm pulling off 50 hit combos in the game, and then I don't know. There's not a lot of games like this on PC, which I think's a shame because I really like this kind of genre. And honestly, other than Wolverine, and there's another one called Garshasp, which is not even,
which is horrible.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as Marlowe Briggs. But look.
There's two of them.
I give Garshasp, the first one anyway, a pass because it was made by, I believe, Iranian students, and it was made completely with open source free software. So they literally made the game for free, like for nothing. So, for considering that, I don't think it's as horrible as But it doesn't need a sequel. It came out with a sequel. So anyway, but this game though, it's worth your time. If it's on Xbox Live, I don't know if it's. I think it's still $10 on there. I don't know if it's worth $10 in my opinion, but it's a lot of fun. It's just so stupid. You play as a guy named Marla Briggs, go figure, who looks like Jackson Briggs from Mortal Kombat, go figure, and he gets murdered for no reason at all in a horrible way. But he's like visiting his girlfriend, and she's an archaeologist, and she walks up to her boss, and she's like, I don't want to work for you anymore. And he's like, I'm sorry, you have no choice. You signed a contract. And she's like, I know, but that was before I knew what was going on here. I don't want to work here anymore. And he goes, oh, well, I'm sorry. And then Marlo Briggs stands in his way, and he goes, you can't keep us here against our will. And he goes, ha 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 ha, we? And then he's like, I'm sorry, but I can't have the boyfriend distracting her in the workplace. And then he goes, kill him, like that. And like the girl's like pointing a gun at him. And then he goes, not with that. Use that. And he points to this giant scythe like sitting on sitting on a crate. And then like this woman walks over and picks this gigantic scythe up, like an 8-foot long scythe. And it's a double-bladed scythe, so it's like, anyway, so she picks it up, walks up to this 6'3", 250-pound bodybuilding guy, and just impales it right through him. Like, no problem at all, and just kills him right there. Turns out the thing's possessed, comes back, brings you back to life, and then you just become like Kratos, basically. And you're on like this murderous rampage from then on. It's really crazy.
Guy, isn't it Joe Pesci?
Is it?
I thought it was.
Don't think so. It's an Asian guy.
Oh.
It's like some Chinese guy. He's exactly like the enemy in Shadow Warrior, though. The new Shadow Warrior.
Maybe I was thinking it felt like an imitation of Joe Pesci.
Maybe, but he's literally like. He reminds me a lot of the bad guy in the new Shadow Warrior.
The best review for it on Steam is I thought this game was a basketball game.
I saw that. I thought it was a basketball game. Well, it's not, in case you were wondering. But it's probably better than most basketball games that I've played. But I've only played a couple, and one of them's Double Dribble, so that goes back a while.
Yeah, that is back a while.
But yeah, so that game though, this game, Marlo Briggs, is super edgy, and it knows that it's edgy, and it knows like what it wants to be, and it's just super over the top and tongue in cheek and funny and silly and goofy and. And I like that about the game. And then, on the other end of the spectrum, you got this other game that I've been playing, Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. And that game it's a good game, but man,
edgy for all the wrong reasons.
Pretty much, like the original is not far off. I don't think I'd be far off in calling it like Disney inspired because it literally feels like like they took the universe of Aladdin and stuck in this kind of like this cute little story between the prince and princess, and you literally have the Jafar ripoff and everything you like about the movie. And then in the sequel, the loading screens bleed. Like, I mean, there's blood everywhere, and there's literally metal music on the soundtrack. That was what I played Godsmack for, because Godsmack is on the actual game soundtrack. That song that I played, I Stand Alone, I Banged a Clown, that song is on there. But anyway, what I was saying at the very beginning of the podcast is that I didn't receive an email from Ubisoft because they don't listen to the show. And as a result, they didn't ask me if they could be a sponsor. So I said, sure, you could not be a sponsor if you want. So that led to this. We'll be right back.
Coming soon. Experience one of gaming's most beloved trilogies like never before. Remastered from the ground up with new catchphrases.
Damn, girl. Yeah.
New graphics.
Hey, yo, G, check it. The sands of time have been kind to your behind, girl. Woo!
And a new attitude.
Ooh, girl, you about to bring out the warrior within. Nah, me.
The fresh Prince of Persia.
I'm picturing 2 thrones, girl. One for me and one for my queen. You know what I mean?
Ubisoft.
Hey, yo, Jab.
Games with ethnicity.
So anyway, they decided that they wanted to Let's go ahead and put that on our show tonight for no reason. But so that is like that's literally the oldest like parody of the game. And I thought,
I can't breathe. I was holding it so long.
oh well, thank you. I thought that it would be good to
You know what I mean?
finally hear
You know what I mean?
finally hear what that would sound like if.
I just like how you tied
see.
all the games titles. If
Oh,
I had
thanks.
to throw.
Yeah, it works. It works out as pickup lines. I never would have
yeah.
guessed either, but yeah. So anyway, the Warrior Within, which I'm playing now, it's if you've played the Sands of Time, the first game,
Yeah.
it's a lot more complex, like the free running and stuff like that, than the Sands of Time, than any point in the Sands of Time. The Sands of Time is actually pretty simplistic, like all the way through. This
Yeah.
game, I mean, it ramps it up to like 11, and you're running off walls, and you don't get a whole bunch of sand retries. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a lot harder in the first game, and it's unnecessarily hard because the combat is basically a focus this time, and I like the combat better, but there's not enough health refills. Like, the only way you can refill your health is basically when you save the game. And then whenever you go through the rigorous parts between checkpoints, it's like you'll go through like a big fight with 6 guys, okay? That's a big fight in this game, by the way. Like, you'll go through, it's a pretty sizable, lengthy, confrontation. Then you get past that and you run into the next room. Oh, look, another 5 guys. It's like, all right, man, like, that's enough. Seriously. Like, I started just running past guys because I would be so low on health by the time I got to the biggest of the enemies that I'm about to face that, like, I just, there's no chance in hell that I could beat it. So, I don't know, I think I'm like 6 or 7 hours into it now, I guess. But
Yeah, it's a long game.
it gets really tough, and I don't know if I'll be missing out on anything if I just throw it on easy. Because to me, the games aren't about the combat, they're about the free running stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, the free running stuff doesn't change. That stuff, if I put it on easy, does the geometry get simpler? I don't think so.
Yeah,
So-
it shrinks down.
yeah,
Right?
right. It turns into like a room with a puddle in the middle or something. But that's the thing is, I'm thinking about just throwing it on easy because the combat just gets in the way of what I actually want to play. And so
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
and I've also realized, sometimes I just want to experience a game, and I'm not really caring to just play it for the difficulty.
I'm honestly like the biggest reason I wanted to play The Warrior Within was because I'd heard so much about it and how different it is than the first game. And now that I've seen that, I kind of just want to move on to the Two Thrones because I've heard the Two Thrones is really good.
Yeah, Two Thrones kind of returned to the original, but it also kept. What was cool about it is if I remember correctly, the prince kind of has 2 egos, 2 alter egos. He has like him, and then he has like his little dark side.
Uh-huh.
And if I remember correctly, his dark side's voiced by the character, the guy who voiced him in the second one. Because
Oh, is that
obviously,
right?
huh?
Okay. Did they get the guy from the first one back in the third
Yes.
one? Okay, good. I noticed something, by the way. Keep talking though.
Oh, but yeah, so I felt like it was a good combination of ways for them to mix the two, but still kind of go back to the roots and kind of more like what Prince of Persia was about.
Yeah, that seems like the best way to handle the situation anyway. I think because I know that when Warrior Within came out, it's really pretty ridiculous the amount of edginess, that they tried to cram into it, because it's so like blatant in your face, and like for example, within the first 30 seconds of the game in the opening cutscene, there's you're on 2 ships, okay, out in the ocean. And one of the ships is like the sand demon things, whatever, and you're on the other ship, and the leader of those things is a woman in a metal bikini, which basically she has a G-string on, and she like stands up, and the first shot of her ever in the game is of her ass right in the camera, and it's like, okay, like I guess this is where we're going. I got you. So you know what I mean? Like it's just super super trying hard, and it just. It's kind of cringeworthy, to be honest.
No,
That
it is.
on,
And I
on
don't
top
know,
of
it's
the
like,
metal soundtrack, and
it's just weird when you see things like, for example, like series that totally like jumped the shark, so to speak. And
Right.
I think another good example, although one that was probably done way better, was like the Jack series. When Jack 2 came out, it was
That's a
like,
good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have like platform, but now we're gonna have like shooting and open world, and so it's like you can see sometimes that the market actually does kind of mold
Yeah.
sequels.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame, honestly. Like, I guess you're right. The Jack did handle it better. I don't know, because I know that all three Jacks are pretty much like pretty highly regarded. That's the thing though. Like the second Prince of Persia is not bad. I don't dislike
No.
it, but it's just
It feels like it's just trying too hard.
yeah. And the first one was really kind of charming. I guess like it just kind of felt like it was just an appropriately. I don't know. It's just kind of there. You know what I mean? Like
if you play them back to back, it's a huge contrast.
yeah, that's exactly what I did. I don't know. I think they came out about a year or so apart, but like that's what I did was I literally finished the Sands of Time, and then I literally went and downloaded probably 10 minutes later The Warrior Within and started that one, and man, yeah, it's just such a huge difference. And I don't know. I don't know. Like it happens quite a bit, I think. And it was a weird time in gaming too, because that was I was telling my younger brother because he's too young to remember like the specifics of this time period, but it was there was a point in time where games didn't really say fuck. You know what I mean? Like
Oh no.
that was taboo pretty much. Like
Yeah.
the first Metal Gear Solid didn't have that word. Like the first Grand Theft Auto didn't have that word. And when they did use that word in the first Grand Theft Auto, it was bleeped. And it was in a cutscene, and it was a big deal because that was like a mature, gritty game. And when the Warrior Within, I'm sorry, it's not the Warrior Within, it's Warrior Within, which is retarded. But when Warrior Within came out, it was a period in time where games were transitioning into using swearing and all kinds of stuff. Like now you'll hear motherfucker in a trailer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's meant to be advertising the game. So I mean. Times have certainly changed in the past 10 years, but when this game came out, it was a really it was a transitional period, I guess you'd say, because every game that was selling super well was pretty much rated M at the time and it was the PlayStation and Xbox got versions of games, and the GameCube no longer got versions of games because it was like it was a kiddie console, and people didn't want to buy M-rated games on that console, despite it having Resident Evil exclusivity and one of the best
Darkness.
one of the best games ever, Eternal Darkness and Resident Evil 4, and it's just like it was a really kind of interesting time. Like I remember in the mid '90s there was a similar period too, where Nintendo had a campaign called Play It Loud.
Yeah.
And
I
it
remember
was everything was loud and edgy and like obnoxious in your face and
that. Yeah. Well, I noticed that a trend or things kind of starting to change even on N64, because I remember when Shadow Man came out, I bought that, and like they said cussing, there was full voice acting.
Yeah.
Like it was like voodoo, blood. There was headless enemies, and it was just like whoa. Like whoa.
Nintendo? What?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like,
Especially-
why is this on 64?
Especially Nintendo, yeah. It was interesting though, because in those days, especially PS1 and 64 days, the graphics were so bad that nothing looked realistic. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I first saw Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, and I saw the the enemies being impaled, that kind of stuff, and then they after you impale them, they sit there and they writhe on the ground a little bit, and they scream,
Yeah.
and then they fall over. And that kind of stuff was new to me because I didn't see suffering a lot in video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff was starting to transition into being a normal thing. And nowadays, the graphics and stuff we have nowadays, I think we take them for granted because
Oh, definitely.
yeah, because I mean, you got things like the CryEngine games and those are tools that developers use on the average now. You know what I mean? Like that's what the average game looks like now practically. And when you get games that look bad, quote unquote, and they look like Killer is Dead or something, you know what I mean? Like we're doing pretty good. So, but yeah, it's really interesting to me to go back and look at these types of games because it's cringeworthy now, and at the time they did go overboard and they did, they went a little too far and it was cringeworthy then too because of it. But it was, I think, Ubisoft trying to feel their way through this transitional period, and it's just kind of an interesting piece of history, especially when you have a follow up to it and the Two Thrones that kind of retcons a little bit, kind of pulls back the reins and goes, okay, well we'll compromise, but we're still going to keep a little bit of the edginess, but we understand what we did.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Yeah. What I was going to say with the voice actor thing, because you mentioned that he has a different voice actor. The Prince has a different voice actor in the second
Yes.
game, but they brought the same voice actor back for the Forgotten Sands as in the Sands of Time 2.
Yes.
So that's good. But anyway, he, I believe, is the same guy that voiced Travis Touchdown. I think it is. It sounds exactly like him from No More Heroes. And that's what I'm looking up now. Because it sounds
I don't know.
exactly freaking like him. And I'm like, because it would make a lot of sense to me if it was the same guy. It would just like fit.
Are you telling me
so
that
much
No More
better in
Heroes
my
is
mind.
somehow in
I know, yeah. That would
in
be
the same
that would be
universe
freaking
as the
amazing.
Prince of Persia?
Let's see, what's his name here? I'm looking through all the voice cast. It's not Monica Bellucci. I think I know who that is. I have no idea. Okay. Robin Atkin Downs did the Warrior Within's voice.
That's Warrior Within's voice. Oh,
Yeah,
you're
it's
saying
Warrior Within. I think
think
Warrior
the second
Within's
game?
voice. I think Warrior Within's voice is Travis Touchdown's voice from No More Heroes. But I'm probably wrong.
Well, let's find out.
That's what I'm looking up now. Let me see. I am right. Yes. It is the
I thought you
same
were talking
guy.
about the original guy. That's
No,
why
no,
I was
no,
like,
not the
what?
original.
But
The one that replaced him in Warrior Within sounds exactly like Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. Like he didn't even characterize the voice or anything. So the whole time I'm playing and he says anything, all I see is Travis Touchdown doing his crazy over the top stuff, and it fits a lot better in my mind, basically, in that type of universe,
yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, so my tip to you people is if you've played No More Heroes or if you've seen it and you know how crazy over the top that character is, and then you play Warrior Within, just picture that you're playing as Travis Touchdown and it's some like corrupted weird mini game in the it's a hell of a mini game, but you know what I mean, like game that Travis Touchdown's playing or something like that. It makes it a little more believable. But anyway, that's just something that I give to you people.
Oh,
And
speaking of
thank
games,
thank
and playing,
God
you know,
for me. What?
Speaking of games and stuff, I was recently playing Lost Planet, the original one.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
I actually like
And,
that one.
yeah, it's actually really good. Still,
Yeah.
I mean, it's dated graphically, but man, some of the scale is pretty
Oh,
good.
that's on
but,
PC, isn't it? I'm gonna have to look that up.
So I'm hearing the narrator, right, and I'm like,
Mhm.
dude, that sounds like Nolan North. It is.
Is it really?
I just looked it up. It is.
It's creepy to see. You go back and you just like find everything Nolan North is in, and he's just like he's everywhere. He's friggin' everywhere. Even in Arkham City, he did the Penguin, but he also does the grunts, like the henchmen like around
Yeah.
Arkham City. But he does the Nathan Drake voice for those guys, so you can
Yeah.
easily tell that's him. But yeah, so it's just.
But I had no
he's literally
idea.
everywhere.
He wasn't even a blip on the radar then.
Yeah, well, he can do a lot of different voices. He's actually a really talented guy, and a lot of people just don't realize that. It's sad.
Well, it's because he
You know
gets
what I mean?
typecasted as that voice.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great voice. I like the Drake voice personally, but
I mean,
You
his
know,
voice in The Last of Us was excellent.
yeah, he does the what is that thing he did in Crack in Time, Ratchet and Clank at Crack in Time.
Oh, was he in that one too?
Yeah, he was. He did the thing that talks to Clank throughout the game. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yeah,
the time
yeah.
thing. Yeah, it doesn't sound anything like Nolan North, but it's him, and he does a really good job at it.
I noticed that voice actors seem to go in waves, and it was Nolan North for a while. Now it's
Now
Troy
it's Troy
Baker.
Baker, yeah.
yeah, and
Troy Baker's
eventually
everywhere.
his time will pass.
But
He'll still be doing stuff.
good thing, because Troy Baker did a heck of a freaking awesome Joker, in my opinion, in Arkham
Oh,
Origins.
he did.
Oh, my
amazing.
goodness.
He's good in all his roles, but eventually he's gonna hit a plateau just like Nolan North did.
Well,
And there's
probably,
still-
yeah.
He's still gonna do games and stuff, but it won't be. Oh, Troy Baker's doing this.
Well,
voice
it's like
in every
Jennifer
different
Hale.
game.
Jennifer Hale was in everything from
Yeah.
and she was even the grunts in Metroid Prime for Samus. You know what I mean? Like she did all kinds of stuff, and then she just.
Can we
kinda
get
gets
you to
faded
make a
out.
sound like you're having a bowel movement? Yes, that's okay. Let's do
Can you-
another one.
Can you do something for me? Oh yeah,
Now-
okay. I appreciate
Now this
that.
one, you just ate a carne asada burrito,
it makes me
and
think
you
of
just slurped down a big pile of horchata juice.
makes me think of the video I made from Resident Evil 4's sound effects. Notably when Ashley gets hit, and she sounds very not like she's getting hit, but something else. And
Yeah.
I made a video a few years ago called Lucky Leon, and it's literally just the credit roll of the game, and I just it's sounds of Leon and her getting it on basically. It's really inappropriate, but I'm proud of that video. I shouldn't be, but I am. But hey, what are you gonna do? Editing's editing, man. It's work. I put work into that thing.
You know, speaking of voice acting, how do you get into that? I posted that question on Twitter, and nobody really,
That is a good
I
question.
said, how would you get into that, like starting off?
Right. Well, I guess you just prove that you have the equipment to do it, and then find some indie games, maybe, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure though. That's a good question. We'll throw that out to people that don't know how to, or that do know how to get into it. I'd like to find out myself, personally, because I have the equipment to do it now.
Yeah, I think
I can make a few
really
extra
good
bucks.
voices.
Oh, thanks.
And,
But yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do.
that's it. Let's make a show, and we'll do voices for it.
Well, that'd be cool.
It would be.
We should do. You know what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to do like one of those like radio serial kind of things, from like the soap operas they used to do on the radios. Drink your Ovaltine, son of a bitch. Like that kind of thing. But
No, Jimmy, don't drink your Ovaltine. It's too sweet.
it is too sweet. Have you ever had Ovaltine?
Yeah,
It's too sweet. But yeah, I've always wanted to do something like that. But I don't know. I don't know how well it'd go over in an online society. It might go over pretty well, honestly, because some people just like
need to start doing?
people like reading, listening to people read books to them.
Yeah, we need to rip out cutscenes and revoice them.
Oh, that's a fun idea. That'd be kind of funny. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we should be going this way, Juggernaut.
Why not?
You know. Exactly. See, we could already do
Why
it.
shouldn't we be going this way? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Exactly.
You'd have to start with that one so everyone would go, oh, you're just ripping off the X-Men thing. And you go, not really. Look, I
So
can do
what'd
other
you learn
voices.
today?
I learned too edgy's not good. Go back. Pull the reins back a little bit. Edgy's cool, but not too much. That's all. What about you?
I think I learned that we both like voice acting.
Yeah, it'd be fun to get into because we can both do some cool stuff. We're both
Definitely.
talented individuals.
Oh, and I'll have to talk
Go
about
for
it
it.
on the next episode because I totally forgot to mention. I
Okay.
did watch a movie.
Oh, did you?
Yes. It was called Cheap Thrills.
Cheap Thrills. Well, there you go.
Mhm.
There's a tease for next week.
Yes.
Is it cheesy?
No. It's
Okay,
actually kind
so
of
it's
a dark comedy.
It's a dark comedy. Okay. So I was wondering if I could make clips of it and we can listen, but no. All right then. Follow me on Twitter at It's Don Allen, Justin at @SlasherJPC, and go to
We're on YouTube.
Yeah, we're both on YouTube, and go to Facebook.com/whatever podcast. That's our
Yes,
that's our
please.
thing, our Facebook page. We need people liking it. I need to start pimping stuff. But anyway, thanks for listening, everybody, and
Yeah, thank you,
hope you
guys.
enjoyed this podcast. Till next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Wait.
No.
And I gotta say, since it'll be 4th of July.
It will be, yes.
Friday, so everybody who celebrates the American independence,
be safe. Be safe. Take care of yourselves and each other. That's what that implies.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, keep your limbs. It's not a good look.